Morning YouTube, this is Chuck Jennels of C&S Mining and Manufacturing in Northern Arizona. This is a redo of a video we did earlier that you couldn't hear. And this is a setup of our 3-inch dredge on a place where we test panned. And we had to make a settling pond here to catch all the sediment. Got our pump in and our hoses hooked up. And I believe Cheryl is the one working upstream right about there. She's actually working the place where she was panning, and it set up really well. I mean, we had good water here, and she's still moving some big rocks. This is before she broke her wrist, so she can use two hands here. You see her using a spray bar to wash off all the gold that is on the rocks and to cut into some of the clay in the bank. This is actually on a schist layer in places. It's up against granite and schist. The motor's sitting up on the bank on its adjustable legs, and we're not too far away. I believe that's only like a 20-foot hose, so we're pretty close, and lift wasn't a problem for us. And we split our hose right here, and one goes to suction on the blue hose, and the other red hose is for the spray bar. We lose a little bit of suction that way, but not much. I mean, it keeps going and does a really good job. And the water stayed clear enough where we didn't need a screen on the intake of the foot valve other than one that comes from Keene. So everything worked just like clockwork. I mean, it was just amazing how good this was to work up in this area. And Turkey Creek is our favorite. And here you can see some of the bedrock that she's pointing to here. And this is almost a schist, but not quite. It's just cracks in the bedrock just coming across all the way. And the best way to get that out is like she was doing with the spray bar, and just spraying right across all those riffles. And it'll blow out the gold and suck it up with a nozzle. And as you can see in the settling pond here, we're doing a release on the lower end, so we're getting somewhat clearer water coming out, still going downstream, so we're not damming up the stream. We're just settling the solids out of the water before it gets downstream. And you can tell how much clearer that water is coming out than it was in the pond itself. And that's the point of doing that. It's not a dam, it's a settling pond. We've been accused of making dams before, and that isn't what this is. So this looks like it might be me spraying out some more of that cracked up bedrock. Again with the spray bar. That spray is 1.5 inch lay flat hose, neck down to 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch ball valve on the end. And it just cuts into that. Sometimes that bedrock is decomposed, which is also good. So that allows you to break the bedrock apart also and move that gold out of where it's stuck, either on the rocks or in the bedrock cracks or in the bedrock itself. And you can see there's a few roots. A lot of these roots are old roots from dead trees. But you can see the beautiful bedrock here. It's just made to pick up gold. And this is a really well-known gold area. We've pulled a lot of gold out of this area. And we've moved all the bigger rocks out when we were doing the test pan. And we're still moving rock, but now it's, getting some of the fine out and breaking up the bedrock and getting it out of the way and sucking it up so it can go through the nozzle. It's much better when the motor isn't running in the background and you can hear what people are talking about who are doing the vocal part of this. That was an early video, and it just wasn't good, and I'm glad we're finally to the point where we can clean up the video and redo it and let you see what's going on here and hear what we're trying to explain. This little 3 moves a lot of material. It does a nice job of catching up under the crash box. This is a crash box type of dredge. It's not a flare jet, and it's using a suction nozzle and not a power jet on the flare. So it's just a 3. That's all we legally can use unless you're grandfathered in the forest. And if you get too crazy with it, like I just did, you get a plug up and get a rock in your hose, and that's what that bar is. That bent bar is bent just enough where it'll go down in the nozzle and break the rock jam that's in the hose, usually. Unless you just push it down the hose farther and it hangs up in by the box. But this appears to have cleared out. And we're trying to get a close-up of the bedrock, and it's just a little hard to see. That's not a bad picture there, where you can see where the nozzle's laying. And I don't have a reducer ring on the end of that 3-inch. That's a standoff ring, so it can stand on its nose and still suck water and material from underneath it. The bedrock was great. Everything about this spot was just perfect for the gold. I wish it would have been a little bit more than what we did get. And I'll show you here at the end some of the gold we did get out of here. I was hoping it would be much better, but we didn't have a lot of time this day to do the spot. After we set up, then you got to tear down and whatnot. So it was the time of year where you lose a little bit of daylight. So this is why it pays to test pan. Here's the picture of the gold. It was good color. There was a couple nice little pieces in there that makes you feel good about what you've done for a day or for quite a few hours anyhow. And you can see by the size of the dime, these aren't little bitty flecks. They're nice little pieces. So there you are. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.